Hey y'all, doing some landscaping today. I've been daydreaming about this area, well actually all the whole yard since winter, but I'm finally getting to planting, and yeah, just doing a little bit of hardscaping, so like setting up benches and walkways and sculptural things. So just walking you through what I'm doing. Okay, here's a plant list that I have. A pretty good amount of natives, and let's see. I have this all on my website actually. Not everything is a native, y'all. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I do the majority of natives for the garden, but I actually do stuff that I want to eat from, stuff that I think is just like really pretty or that would do well in a certain spot, or that provides some seasonal interest. So, yeah, and not, like different things bloom at different times, right? So that's kind of the idea. So I got some bulbs planned, different kinds of trees and that sort of thing. So what have I done today? I'm laying out, this is compost. It's not totally broken down and it's mostly hay, but this will act as a really great additive to the soil, because the soil's like really dry and dead. So I'm basically adding this, and it has a lot of rabbit droppings and rabbit litter. It'll help retain moisture and will give insects something to eat and something to do in the soil, and hopefully improve fungus and all of that fun stuff. So we got some evergreens in here again for some seasonal interest. So the idea is that the garden looks pretty year round. So when the roses are not in full bloom, what's going to happen is they're trimmed down, and then I've got these two little evergreens that'll kind of serve as like the entryway into this little garden space, and they can be decorated. So I think that would be really cute. So yeah, a mixture of native and non-native. I think that's totally fine. But obviously I just want to go with a lot of natives. They're going to do much better for the area anyway. A lot more, low maintenance. So these are peonies. This peony here sees a lot of morning shade. And it's just not doing as well as this guy. And so I moved half of it over here. And the peonies, they're huge flowers, gorgeous. They're done flowering. It's not the best time to replant something, but I'll keep my eyes on it and water it. But yeah, it's basically going to be in line with this other one. So hopefully they'll be about the same size. So right now I'm just getting like sage and lavender and some blanket flowers in, and those will just, like I can harvest the lavender. Bees and butterflies will love all three of those, so that's really great. And then they're going to do well for this soil. But again, I've got my natives going in over the weekend. So I had removed plastic from this whole area. It did not look like this at all, right? So it was just a bunch of rock. It was just landscaping rock with plastic. I hauled in a bunch of driftwood. Some of this rock was already here, but collected a few. And yeah, I thought I removed all the plastic, but it's still there. So I've got to remove that. So I'm amending the soil with a little bit of this, mixing it in with the drier stuff, and then putting this kind of like around it, and not directly touching the roots again because it's not fully composted. So, but it'll be fine. Hollyhock there. There's hollyhocks all around here. I've got a little drainage thing happening here, so I just dug a little canal kind of thing that ends in a depression right there. So like it's a dry creek, basically, but the water does actually follow this, and it runs down it when it builds up, so it does work. This will be like a little sculpture with a bunch of sandstone. So I'll use some concrete and build up the top. So I'll have 2 little archways doing that whole thing. Some interesting lights on driftwood. I think they're cute. Very cute things going on. That was a gift from my neighbor just yesterday. So little driftwood light. I like it. I like what's going on. This is lemongrass. I've never seen this in the store, so I'm sure it's common, I guess, because it was just at Home Depot. I don't really have a lot of really great garden centers for this area, but I think that would be fun to try, and then harvest it, whenever, and then use it for food, for dishes. So yeah, blanket flower, some succulents, and that is that. Quick note about landscaping plastic, y'all. I was furious. I was livid. Landscaping fabric and plastic. It just having to remove it is really hard. I removed it all along the park strip, and it's a long strip, and it was super hard because I had to move all the rock, pull it. I mean, jujitsu arms and fingers, seriously. I was moving all the rock, digging it like an animal. It was so hard. And for what? It's not a weed barrier. The weeds grew right on top of it. Oh my God. Literally all it's doing is trying to smother the face of the earth. I don't like what you're doing here. Smother it and then put something on top of it. No, stop. So anyway, it's not an effective solution. Spraying herbicides, pesticides, all that stuff. It's exhausting. Stop doing it. You're not just hurting your yard. You're actually hurting the waterways. You're hurting the whole ecosystem. Spiders, insects, birds, your air, all of this stuff around you. We take that for granted, I think, some of us. I do sometimes. We're breathing. Every breath that we take is provided by the earth. Every sip of water provided by the earth. So when I get out in the garden, I'm thank you, Mother Earth. I am going to bust my ass to show how much I appreciate the earth and how beautiful it is and how life is just incredibly amazing. I've added a lot of driftwood and different sticks and everything to the yard, and it looks a little haphazard until all the plants go in and all of that, but spiders love it. And you know what? Spiders are amazing friends of the garden. So anytime I see them, I'm just feeling really blessed by that. And hopefully I'll have a lot of other things enter the garden. There was this weed. There was a weed. Let's just go look at this weed. I think it's a weed. I left it in the yard because I thought it was really pretty. And there's a bird. There was a bird coming to eat off of it right this second. So I don't know what it is, but it's kind of tallish, and it has these seeds that float along like dandelions. Huge flowers, or not huge, but they're this big. And they're really pretty. They're yellow. So I left it in the yard and was that's cool. I'm going to leave it. And it turns out that the birds love it. The birds will actually eat off of it. There was literally a bird flying to it just now when I was walking over. So I'm fascinated by that. I literally left one plant, and then the birds are yay, food! Where it was just grass. It was just grass. So now one or two birds, probably more than 2, but I know for a fact 2, have eaten from it. I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm amazed at that. I think it's amazing. It's a very small thing. I didn't actually have to do anything. I actually just mowed around it. I saw it and I said, I'm gonna mow around that. That's all it took. That's all I did. Nothing else. And that was hugely beneficial to the yard and to animals, to the yard. So anyway, just yeah, that's the end.